The courtroom was packed with stern faces, the air thick with tension as the military tribunal loomed over Captain Theo Rivera like a storm cloud, ready to unleash. I stood there, my heart pounding, knowing that one wrong word could shatter his dreams forever. "I am his husband," I declared boldly, the lie slipping out with surprising conviction, sealing our fates in a web of deception that would change everything. "My name is Jordan Hayes, and I've always been the guy who fixes things." Growing up in a small town in Ohio, I learned early on that blending in was survival, especially when you're gay in a place where differences are whispered about behind closed doors. But Theo Rivera? He was the opposite, bold, unapologetic, the kind of man who charged into life like it was a battlefield he was destined to conquer. We met at a veteran support group in Washington, D.C., where I worked as a civilian contractor for the Department of Defense. Theo was fresh out of a deployment, his uniform still crisp, his eyes carrying the weight of unseen scars. He was straight, or so everyone thought, including me at first. But over coffee chats that turned into late-night talks, I saw the cracks. He confided in me about the rumors swirling in his unit, whispers that he was gay, sparked by a careless photo from a pride event he'd attended incognito years ago. In the military, even post-don't ask, don't tell perceptions could kill a career. Promotions stalled, assignments vanished, and suddenly you're sidelined. One evening, as we sat on my apartment balcony overlooking the Potomac, Theo broke down. "They're investigating me, Jordan. If they confirm it, I'm done. My whole life has been the Army." His voice cracked, and I felt a pang I couldn't ignore. I'd been out since college, facing my own battles with family rejection and workplace biases. But Theo's world was stricter. The military prided itself on progress, but old prejudices lingered like ghosts in the ranks. That's when the idea hit me. Absurd, risky, but maybe just crazy enough to work. "What if we pretend to be married?" I suggested, half joking at first. "A straight-passing marriage could throw them off. Show you're committed to a traditional life." Theo stared at me, his dark eyes widening. "You'd do that? For me?" I nodded, ignoring the flutter in my chest. It was just friendship, right? Helping a buddy out. We pulled it off with frightening ease. A quick civil ceremony in Maryland, backdated paperwork through some shady but legal channels. I had connections from my DoD gig. We moved in together, sharing a modest house in Arlington to sell the story. Photos of us at barbecues, holidays with fabricated family stories. To the outside world, we were the perfect couple. Theo the decorated officer, me the supportive spouse. But living the lie wasn't simple. Our first real test came at a military gala. Theo's superiors were there, eyes sharp as eagles. I played the doting husband, my hand on his arm, laughing at his jokes a bit too convincingly. "You two make a great team," his colonel said, clapping Theo on the back. Relief washed over us. But as we danced under the chandeliers, a slow waltz to keep up appearances, I felt something shift. His hand on my waist was warm, steady. I pushed it down. This was temporary. Society's gaze weighed heavy. Friends questioned our sudden union. "Jordan, you're settling down? With a military guy?" My gay friends eyed Theo suspiciously, sensing the facade. Theo's family, conservative Latinos from Texas, were thrilled at first. Finally, a stable life. But his mother started probing. "When are you giving me grandkids?" The pressure built, cracks forming in our pretend world. Then came the internal conflicts. Late nights, Theo would come home exhausted from drills, collapsing on the couch. I'd make dinner, we'd talk about everything but the elephant in the room. One night, after a particularly grueling day, he admitted, "I don't know who I am anymore, Jordan. This lie, it's eating at me." I wanted to tell him it was okay, that maybe his feelings ran deeper, but I couldn't risk it. What if he wasn't ready? What if I was reading it wrong? As weeks turned to months, the investigation dragged on. We attended couples counseling mandatory for the charade, where the therapist unwittingly peeled back layers. "Communication is key," she said. In those sessions, Theo opened up about his fears. Abandonment from his unit, disappointing his father who was a veteran. I shared my own, always being the fixer, never the fixed. Our bond deepened, blurred lines between fake and real. But society pushed back. At a neighborhood block party, a nosy neighbor cornered me. "So, you're the one who tamed the captain? Military men need a strong hand at home." Her words dripped with outdated stereotypes, igniting my anger. Later, Theo and I argued our first real fight. "Why do you let them talk like that?" he snapped. "Because it's part of the act," I yelled back. But deep down it hurt. Was I just a prop? The climax of this phase came when Theo's promotion board convened. We presented as the ideal pair, but whispers persisted. One board member, an old-school general, grilled us. "How do you balance home life with duty?" Theo squeezed my hand under the table. "Jordan's my anchor," he said sincerely. We passed barely. But that night, as we celebrated with cheap wine, Theo looked at me differently. "Thank you," he whispered. My heart raced. Was this the start of something more? Yet, doubts crept in. My own career suffered rumors at work that I was playing house with a superior, casting shadows on my professionalism. Colleagues distanced themselves. Opportunities slipped away. I sacrificed for him, but at what cost? The emotional toll mounted. Feelings I couldn't name bubbling up. Love? Or just the intimacy of shared secrets? As the months stretched into a year, our fabricated marriage began to feel eerily real. Theo's career stabilized. The investigation closed with no findings, thanks to our airtight story. But the victory was bittersweet. Living together meant constant proximity, and with it, unspoken tensions. I'd catch him staring when he thought I wasn't looking, or he'd linger too long in a hug after a tough day. I told myself it was the act, but my resolve weakened. Social conflicts escalated. At a pride parade in D.C., I wanted to go openly, but Theo hesitated. "What if someone from base sees us?" he argued. "We're supposed to be low-key." It stung. Here I was, hiding my identity to save his, yet he couldn't support mine publicly. We compromised. I went alone, but the resentment festered. That night I confronted him. "Do you even care about who I am, Theo? Or is this all about your uniform?" He paced the living room, frustration etched on his face. "Of course I care, but the military isn't as progressive as you think. One wrong move and it's over." His words highlighted the broader societal rifts. In America, where equality laws existed on paper, reality was messier. Theo's unit had a mix. Some allies, others who clung to traditional values. A fellow officer, Sergeant Mills, outright challenged us at a team barbecue. "Marriage is sacred," he slurred after too many beers. "You too. It's convenient, huh?" Theo defended us fiercely, but later confessed his fear. "What if they're right? What if I'm fooling myself?" My family added fuel. My sister, supportive but blunt, visited from Ohio. "Jordan, this doesn't add up. You're glowing around him? Is it real?" I dodged, but she pressed, "Don't lose yourself in his mess." Her concern mirrored my growing turmoil. Work suffered more. A big contract I was eyeing went to someone else. "Conflicts of interest," my boss said vaguely. Was it homophobia, or just the optics of our marriage? Amid the chaos, tender moments emerged. One weekend, we escaped to the Shenandoah Mountains for a honeymoon photo op, part of maintaining the facade. Hiking trails, we talked dreams. Theo wanted to command a battalion. I aimed for policy work in LGBTQ rights. By a campfire, he shared a childhood story, bullying for being soft, joining the army to prove his manhood. "You've shown me strength isn't about hiding," he said softly. Our hands brushed, electricity sparking. I pulled away, heart aching. But controversy brewed. An anonymous tip to Theo's command revived suspicions. "Inconsistencies in your marital status." The letter read. Panic set in. We scrambled, forging more evidence. Joint bank accounts, utility bills. It worked, but the stress cracked us. Theo withdrew, burying himself in work. I felt invisible, my sacrifices unacknowledged. Then, a turning point, Theo's deployment orders came. 6 months in the Middle East. I can't do this without you, he admitted, vulnerability raw. We spent the night talking, barriers crumbling. Jordan, what if? This isn't pretend for me anymore. His confession hung in the air, my pulse thundering. But fear won. I laughed it off. Deployment jitters, I said. As he left, airport farewell lingering, I realized I was in love. Deep, irrevocable love. Alone. The house echoed with emptiness. Society's judgments amplified. Friends pitted me as the military spouse, assuming I was straight-washed. At a support group for partners, I heard stories of isolation, infidelity under pressure. It mirrored my doubts. Was Theo exploring his identity or using me? Work hit rock bottom. A promotion denied, citing personal distractions. Furious, I confronted my supervisor. Is this because I'm gay? He denied, but the implication lingered. Broader issues surfaced. Discrimination in federal contracting, where optics mattered more than merit. Theo's letters from overseas were lifelines, mundane at first, then intimate. I miss our talks. Miss you. My replies poured out emotions I couldn't say aloud. But a call changed everything. There's talk here. Rumors followed me. The lie haunted us across oceans. Upon his return, the airport reunion was charged. He hugged me fiercely, whispering, "We need to talk." That night, over dinner, truth spilled. I think I'm bisexual, Jordan. And I feel something for you. Joy surged, but caution tempered it. What about the marriage? The career? He sighed. I don't know. Our first real kiss happened then, tentative, electric. But society intruded. His family planned a visit, expecting the happy couple. We performed, but his mother's questions probed deeper. Theo, are you truly happy? He faltered, and I saw the conflict. Family expectations versus self-truth. With Theo back, our relationship evolved from facade to fragile reality. We navigated dating in secret, stolen moments amid the pretense. But the military's shadow loomed. A routine psych eval flagged marital stress, forcing more counseling. The therapist sensed undercurrents. Are there unspoken feelings? We danced around it, but it forced introspection. Social clashes intensified. At a unit function, a homophobic joke from a superior tested Theo. He laughed it off, but later exploded. I hate this hypocrisy. I challenged him. Then stand up. Be you. But fear of ostracism held him back. It highlighted systemic issues. Despite policies, LGBTQ soldiers faced higher rates of harassment, lower retention. My career cratered further. Laid off amid restructuring. I suspected bias. Job hunts revealed prejudices. Interviewers probing my marital status. Code for discomfort. Bitter, I lashed out at Theo. I gave up everything for you. He countered. I never asked you to. The fight exposed resentments, my unrequited sacrifices, his internal war. Reconciliation came slowly. A weekend in New York, away from DC's scrutiny, allowed honesty. Walking Central Park, hands linked discreetly, Theo admitted, I love you, Jordan, but I'm scared. Tears flowed. I confessed the same. Yet, reality intruded. Paparazzi-like scrutiny from colleagues spotting us. Controversy peaked when an ex-colleague leaked our story to a military blog. Fake marriage to hide sexuality? Headlines screamed. Theo's command investigated again, this time deeper. We lawyered up, but the toll was immense. Friends divided. Some supported, others accused us of fraud. Family reactions varied. My sister rallied. Fight for love. Theo's parents disowned him temporarily, citing deception. The pain was visceral, cultural clashes between progressive ideals and traditional roots. Amid turmoil, we grew closer. Supporting each other through hearings, we built resilience. But a bombshell, Theo faced demotion. Admit the truth or resign, they demanded. He agonized. Career versus authenticity. I urged him, choose you. But he wavered, the military his identity. Our relationship strained under pressure. One night, he proposed ending the charade. Divorce publicly. Save my rep. Heartbroken, I agreed, but inside, shattered. The hearing loomed, decisions pending. Society's debates raged online. Fraud versus survival in a flawed system. We stood at the precipice. Love tested by fire. The tribunal room echoed with accusations. Theo in full dress uniform. Me beside him as witness. Prosecutors painted us as deceivers. This marriage mocks military integrity. Our lawyer countered. It's about protection in an imperfect world. Testimonies poured in, allies vouching for Theo's service. Detractors decrying special treatment. Theo took the stand, voice steady. I entered this to protect my career, but it became real. Gasps rippled, he came out publicly. I'm bisexual, and I love my husband, for real. Pride swelled in me, but fear too. The board recessed, verdict pending. Backlash was swift. Media frenzy. Hero or fraud? Protests outside base. Conservatives railing against undermining values. LGBTQ advocates hailing bravery. Theo's unit split. Some shunned him, others stood by. Personally, it devastated. My job prospects tanked further. Labeled controversial. Doors closed. Isolation set in, friends ghosted. Fearing association. Theo's family thawed slightly, his mother calling tearfully, I just want you happy. Our love deepened amid adversity. Quiet evenings, we planned futures. Theo considering civilian life, me advocacy work. But doubts lingered. Did I force this? Theo asked. No, I reassured. We chose together. A twist. Evidence surfaced of command bias, prior harassment ignored. The case shifted, exposing systemic flaws. Public opinion swayed, petitions for reform gaining traction. But victory came at cost. Theo was cleared but passed over for promotion, effectively stalled. Resentment brewed. Why sacrifice for a system that doesn't value us? Debates ensued, equality versus tradition. We divorced legally, but stayed together privately. Society questioned, was it all a ploy? The ambiguity fueled arguments. Healing began. Theo transitioned to reserves, pursuing counseling. I landed a role at an LGBTQ nonprofit, channeling pain into purpose. Yet, scars remained. A family reunion tested us. Theo's father confronted, you shamed us. Reconciliation tentative, highlighting generational divides. As normalcy returned, love solidified. But the journey questioned, at what point does self-preservation become self-destruction? In the aftermath, life settled into a new rhythm. Theo and I rented a quiet apartment in Brooklyn, away from DC's glare. He worked as a security consultant, his military days a chapter closed but not forgotten. I thrived at the nonprofit, advocating for LGBTQ rights in federal sectors, turning our ordeal into change. Reflections haunted us. Late nights, we'd discuss, was it worth it? Theo's career survived, albeit altered. Mine reborn stronger. But the emotional cost, trust issues, anxiety from scrutiny lingered. Society evolved slowly. Our story inspired bills for better protections, but opposition persisted. At conferences, I spoke, deception shouldn't be necessary for equality. Debates raged, progress versus peril. Personally, we married for real, a small ceremony with true friends. Vows exchanged with depth. Through lies and truths, I choose you. Honeymoon in Hawaii, we found peace. But conflicts arose anew. Theo's lingering military ties brought old friends, some judgmental. You changed him, one accused. I defended. He changed himself. It underscored ongoing struggles. Acceptance in macho cultures. Family mended unevenly. Theo's parents visited, awkward but warming. My sister became our rock, reminding, love wins, but fight smart. As years passed, wait. No, this is the story's arc within a compressed timeline. We faced a final test. A job offer for Theo, return to active duty, reformed unit. Temptation pulled. My calling. I supported but feared regression. He declined. You're my priority now. our bond unbreakable, but the world still judged. Online forums dissected, heroic or manipulative? In the end, we stood firm, hearts intertwined. Was it ethical to deceive for love and survival in a society that forces such choices?